Hello, so today we're going to be talking about what is quite possibly the worst thing Trudeau has ever done. And you might be wondering why I have a CBC up here. Well, it's because they are actually not lying about what Trudeau is doing. They're lying about the reason why he's doing it, but they're not lying about what he's actually doing. This way, I get to talk about what he's doing and debunk the mainstream media at the same time. So what happened yesterday? Well, the Liberal Party, Trudeau's party, and the NDP, which is the New Democratic Party, which is ran by Jagmeet Singh piece of shit, who's probably just as evil as Trudeau now, have actually joined forces. Now let me explain to you why they did this. So basically, about 2 years ago, Trudeau called an election. The purpose of this election was just so that he can gain more power. That was it. That was literally his entire goal, was to just gain more power. People were voting to get him out, but he rigged it, and that's how he was able to win. But despite winning it, he did still lose more seats in the House, and he actually lost power, even though his goal was to gain power. Now, because he lost, he decided, fuck it. What I'm going to do instead is ask Jagmeet Singh if his party can support me, and therefore I can stay Prime Minister until at least 2025, without the feedback or votes of Canadian citizens, because he knows that if he did get votes, he would fail just like he did literally a year and a half ago. So his solution was, fuck democracy. I am a tyrant. I am a dictator. I am not fucking leaving, so I'm going to have Jagmeet help me stay here. So with that being said, let's read this garbage. The parties agreed to work together on 7 key policy areas, including health, climate change, and affordability. Right. So before I even read, let's just put out some basic common sense that if anybody does not know this, I need to know how you function on planet Earth. But regardless, affordability. Justin Trudeau became Prime Minister in 2015, and since 2015, just cost of living across Canada in general has become less affordable than it ever has in the history of the entire world, and it is Trudeau's fault. Cost of living going up, rent being almost unaffordable, food being almost unaffordable, transportation being almost unaffordable, gas being almost unaffordable, education being almost unaffordable, medication being almost unaffordable is all the fault of Trudeau and nobody else. But sure, let's listen to his bullshit. The supply and confidence agreement struck between the governing Liberals and the opposition New Democrats could affect the kind of legislation Canadians can expect to see pass through Parliament between now and 2025. According to the deal, these key policy areas are climate change, healthcare spending, reconciliation with Indigenous people, economic growth, and efforts to make life more affordable. So, look, I shouldn't need to say it, but I'm going to anyway. It baffles me. Actually, it doesn't baffle me because I'm not surprised. It sickens me that there are still people on planet Earth who will actually read this and go, what's the problem? If they're going to be working on things, if they're going to be working on helping people and making things more affordable, then why would you be against this? It's because the few people on planet Earth who still have a brain are actually able to take the past as fucking EVIDENCE. If you can't spell, that spells evidence. And we use it to prove what is going to happen in the future. Because we are not brain-dead morons who actually believe that politicians are somehow honest and believe that the mainstream media is somehow honest. Allow me to tell you what that sentence really says as far as reality is concerned, okay? Climate change. Nothing's going to happen there because all he's really doing is upping the carbon tax, which is basically him just using climate change as an excuse to say, hey, climate change is real, and because it's real, I'm going to give you the delusion that you're actually helping climate change by giving me more money. And Canadian citizens actually think that he's not lying when he says that. Okay. Next, healthcare spending. Well, we know how that's going. Hospitals are clearly underfunded and understaffed, and of course, hospitals themselves, there's really not enough of them in the country, which is why we wait in a hospital for like 10, 12 fucking hours, and also why medications that Canadians still pay for, side note, people who actually believe Canada has free healthcare are also incredibly fucking stupid, because most of it is actually not free at all, and even the stuff that is free isn't really free because you're paying for it through your taxes. But regardless, all that's going to happen there is that your medication is actually going to go up. Okay, it's going to go up. Reconciliation with Indigenous people, well, that's a load of shit, because right now they are drinking muddy water, and instead of helping them out, Trudeau is instead giving billions of dollars to foreigners, but okay, sure, whatever. Next is economic growth. Okay, well, that's fucking bullshit, because we are actually in the biggest recession in Canadian history, and the amount of unemployed people is at the highest it's ever been. The people who are employed are basically living paycheck to paycheck and barely managing to live paycheck to paycheck. The average job now is literally underpaying employees and not paying more based on the amount of work they're doing, or as inflation goes up or cost of living goes up, but still expecting them to do more work because they don't want to hire more employees to actually spread out the tasks at most jobs. And then finally, we have efforts to make life more affordable. So here's what's actually going to happen. You're going to be working harder and making less money. You're going to be paying more for your food, more for your gas, more for your rent, and there will just in general be less in your fucking pocket. And that's what Trudeau wants. That's what he's wanted for a long time. He's been doing it for almost 10 years, and nothing's going to fucking change. And the longer you support this, just being some fucking deluded, brain-dead fucking moron being like, really, Trudeau? I mean, I know you were lying the last 300 times you said this, but are you really telling the truth this time? Why, yes, I am. Don't worry, I won't be taking any of your money. This time, I truly mean it. Me and Jagmeet are going to help Canadian citizens. I promise. You will not be suffering. You will not be paying more. I will do everything in my power to make sure that I help out refugees and Ukraine. I mean, I'm helping you, Canadian citizen. Don't worry, I'm not going to bleed your wallet clean and then give your money to Ukraine. I promise. I really am going to help the citizens of Canada. And then Canadians go, okay, I'll trust you for the 900th time. And it's not just Trudeau, it's politicians in general, but whatever, people are fucking stupid. To do this, the parties will need to establish a working relationship that governs how they communicate plans and voting intentions. Rigging, but okay. The Prime Minister's office published a statement on its website outlining the deal, which is not going to happen. Get over yourself if you actually believe it. Here's a look at some key questions. Is this a coalition government? Yes, okay? They're going to say no because I'm reading this from the CBC. But imagine actually believing that it's not. Okay, so the answer really is no. Imagine actually believing that it isn't. Like, imagine actually convincing yourself that this is not a coalition. Imagine being that stupid. Okay, anyway. The NDP does not become part of the Liberal government. Okay. New Democrat MPs remain in opposition. Okay, sure. They get no seats at the cabinet table. Oh my god. And the NDP can walk away from the deal if it feels it no longer serves its interests. Jagmeet, you and your party are being benefited. You know what you're being benefited for? Trudeau and his party is going to be paying you to help them out. Additionally, you get more attention to your government, to your political party. So you do benefit. You know that you benefit. You're a fucking scumbag. I want to go into it with the spirit of hopeful optimism, but I will remain critical and we're going to remain in the opposition party, Singh said Tuesday. No, you're not. We are going to remain forceful in getting help to people and making sure that this agreement is followed through. No, you won't. Please, I'm so worried. I mean, I won't know, obviously, because it's in your head. But I'm so worried just in general about the amount of people who actually think that I'm wrong here. Like, the amount of people who think I'm the one who's wrong, but think Trudeau and Singh are being honest. Like, I'm sure that there's a large population of people who actually think that. People who, I guess, have pretty severe Stockholm Syndrome and actually believe it when the capture says, don't worry, I'll remove your chains next week. Okay, I know you've been saying that for 5 years, but I trust you'll do it next week. Like, okay, like, whatever. How will the parties work together day by day? They will by increasing taxes together to suck the money out of your cock. And honestly, read it yourself. It's a bunch of horse shit. They're not going to do fuck all to help you. This guy right here, Pierre, I'm not really sure how to pronounce his last name, but he is an awesome guy. He's actually honest, unlike Trudeau, at least for now. Maybe he'll also turn into a fucking gremlin if he gets elected, but as of right now, he's actually honest and against Trudeau. But regardless, more bullshit here that they're not really going to do. What do the two parties want to do? They want to suck all of your money out. We've already been over this. Here's some key aspects. They want to, so health. A new dental care program that would start with low-income kids under 12 this year before expanding next year to include under 18. This is not going to happen. Seniors and people living with disability, not going to happen. The program would be restricted to families earning less than $90,000 with no co-paying requirements for anyone earning less than $70,000. It's not going to happen. Affordability. Now this is a good one because, again, if I must say, our inflation is up like thousands of percent over minimum wage increase, higher than it's ever been in Canada. Rent is up also like thousands of percent, nowhere near what people are actually making these days. But anyway, more affordable housing. A $500 top-up to the Canada Housing Benefit this year and a home buyer's bill of rights. If this happens, I will delete my channel because I know it's not. Climate change, read about that if you want. I don't care. Labor, yeah, just a bunch of bullshit. Reconciliation. Tax. Let's read this one. Changes to taxation for financial institutions that have made robust profits during the pandemic. Implementation of a publicly accessible beneficial ownership registry by the end of 2023. I love how the tax section says nothing about actually lowering taxes. But what the fuck were you expecting? Well, actually, I was expecting something. I was expecting CBC to lie, but I guess not. Democracy, a commitment to work with Elections Canada to expand voter participation. Does it matter? You're going to rig it anyway. But let's move on to what some of the Conservatives are saying so we can actually get rid of our headache. The Conservative leaders accuse Liberals of power grab after Trudeau makes deal with the NDP. Already feeling better because they're right. The Conservative leader Candice Bergen came out swinging on Tuesday against a new agreement that will see the NDP prop up the Liberal government until 2025, calling the pact a desperate attempt by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to cling to power. This is 100%, just like I said in the beginning of the video, what it is and what he's doing. Speaking to reporters after Trudeau formally announced the confidence and supply agreement, Bergen said the deal effectively hands the reins of government to the socialist NDP. She warned that could mean a massive expansion of government and tax hikes, because it will, to pay for billions of dollars in new spending on promised social programs. And of course giving like $20 billion to Ukraine, because that's just what he does, and of course also helping out the refugees that come over here and the other immigrants that come over here while Canadian citizens get fucked over as we have been for over 10 years now. Anyways, the rest of it is basically just them calling out Trudeau for being a fucking scumbag because that's what he is. And yeah, please, I'm begging you, if people have any brain cells left, which is very hard to come by, I am begging you not to fucking buy into this shit. None of these promises are going to happen. This is a power grab to keep him in power for as long as he can because he does not want to leave. He is literally going to be that Trump meme where they drag him out kicking and screaming, except this time it'll actually happen. Okay? This guy, you piece of shit, I hate you more than anything on the planet. Ugh.